What's going on, YouTubers, Guardians, and Destiny fans? It is your boy Buzz. Welcome back to my channel, Buzzed Gaming. And for you Destiny fans, especially you PvPers, you were met with hopefully a welcome patch for you yesterday via the Bungie forums. Destiny's weapon tuning December update. So in December they're going to be coming out with some, I guess, further tweaks to the 2.0 weapon changes that they made, I believe, last month. Anyway, base weapon changes. Auto rifles, the 2.0 update brought auto rifles back into the competitive PvP space as an option. However, we find they are still occasionally losing to pulse rifles at close range. Based on that data, autos are coming up a tiny bit to help them fulfill their intended role. The goals for auto rifles are optimal at close to medium range. Auto rifles can effectively compete against pulse rifles in PvP. So for you auto rifle heavy Guardians who like to go into PvP, apparently you've been losing a little too much to pulse rifles in close, because I heard the pulse rifles are absolute cheese now on Crucible. So I guess you'll be able to handle yourselves a little bit better at close range. Changes are small increases to base damage, low ROF, Suros Regime, and Answering Chord, 3% base damage increase. Medium ROF, Zalo Supercell, Paleo Contact, JPK 43, you're getting a 7% base damage increase. And high ROF, Arminius D and Necrochasm, 4% base damage increase. In addition, they're going to be changing the pulse rifles. Pulse rifles are some of the most adaptive and efficient primaries right now. The base damage forgives enough thumb skill up close that they can compete with auto rifles. The effective range keeps scout rifles in check at extended ranges, and the burst cadence forces a grueling pace for even the most adept hand cannon users. We like that they're having a moment, but they need a few limitations in their raw utility goals. Pulse rifle isn't optimal at medium range, but can still effectively engage enemies at close or medium long range. True. Pulse rifles should feel strong in PvP, but don't become the only competitive option. Now, I don't play PvP on Destiny. I mean, you see me here on the video. This is one of my first ever games playing Halo 5, Halo in general. But from what I hear, pulse rifles right now are just absolute beast mode. So changes, and that's Destiny. Pulse rifles are beast mode. Changes reduce base damage. Low ROF, the messenger, spare change, 9% base damage reduction. Medium ROF, Hacksaw, no time to explain, Red Death, 8% base damage reduction. High ROF, Bad Juju, 8% base damage reduction. Highest ROF, Grasp of Marok, 2% base damage reduction. They're also going to reduce damage fall off to start between auto rifle and hand cannon ranges, and a low range pulse rifle will have shorter damage fall off than an average hand cannon. A high range pulse rifle will have farther damage fall off than an average hand cannon. Increased base damage against AI combatants to 1.3% was 1.25%. And then they have some sort of schematic here on the Bungie forums. Here's a design scratch chart that compares pulse rifle shots to kill between 2.0.0.0 and 2.1.0. Base damage buffs modifiers not accounted for. They're also going to help out you hand cannons. This is one of my big beefs with the Taken King. You know, for those of you who watched and been faithful to the channel for a long time, remember, I've been a day one Guardian. Hand cannons were my thing. I loved using them. I had all of the special ones. I even did a best top 5 PvE hand cannon video. And when Taken King out, they absolutely dumbed them down. They were horrific. The range was awful. So for hand cannons, for 2.0.1, we've increased ADS accuracy, that's aiming down sights accuracy, for another pass at the goals outlined below. Goals: hand cannons are optimal at close to medium range. Rewards: agility under fire, precision targeting, and snapshots. Hand cannons cannot reliably compete with scout rifles at long range. Well, that's true. They should not be able to. Changes: increase ADS accuracy for more reliable shooting at close to medium range. FYI, Golden Gun is not and never will be affected by hand cannon weapon changes. Shotguns. Our last few attempts at curbing the lethal range of shotguns have made some dents in the legacy of the Fellwinter times, but currently there are still weapon builds that can kill at surprisingly long range, albeit less reliably. We are hitting range again in the form of damage fall off, but we're also turning the focus to other ways in which shotguns can be lethal. Long-range shotgun builds now call for more challenging sacrifices on other weapon stats, stability, rate of fire, reload, and handling. Goals. Shotguns are most effective at very close range, complements melee attacks and other close-quarter class builds. Offensively closing on an enemy with a shotgun is a risk-reward timing game. Reduce weapon agility so that CQ combat, that's close quarters combat, is more deliberate. Changes. They're going to reduce starting damage fall-off to match melee lunge ranges. Low range stat fall-off starts at standard melee lunge. High range stat fall-off starts at blink strike lunge. So they're really going to bring these things back in. Final damage fall-off distance extends 0.5 meters longer for a smoother drop. Slower ready stow times for all shotguns. Additional recoil across the entire stability stat range. Slower reload speed across the entire reload stat range. Slower time to aim down sights for all shotguns. Slower base movement speed when shotguns are the active weapon. Walk, run, and aim down sights. Sprint is unaffected. Add 2 frames delay when firing out of sprint. So you're going to slow down even further when you're coming out of sprint how fast you can shoot. Increase base damage against AI combatants to 1.6% was 1.55%. So it sounds like shotguns have been the bane of most people and should be in Crucible. And if you're walking around corners and somebody pops you with a shotgun, well, that's your fault for not looking at your radar. Fusion rifles. Fusion rifles are nuanced weapons, not only in how to use them effectively, the ability to track targets and predict movement being imperative, but also that the weapon stats can provide a variety of experiences. For example, high stability will keep the projectile grouping close together and improve your chance of hitting all shots. Well, that's a no-brainer. High range will increase projectile speed and reduce the enemy's ability to dodge the burst. Charge speed will move the weapon's roll from reactive to anticipatory, as it goes from fast to slow. Our hope in this patch is to make these player-facing decisions easier to answer. Slow charging fusions like the Amalan, Thassan, FR4 can push the effective range of fusions to the max. Faster charging fusions like Splitter Shifter Pro will also will allow players to be reactive to close range threats. So the goals. Fusion rifles are optimal at mid-range where targets are easier to track but they're not close enough to attack while charging up. Requires combat foresight and the ability to predict a target's movement to use successfully. Accentuate close range, medium range effectiveness by tuning charge speed and stability, and make players feel more judicious about spending ammo. So changes. Increase charge speed on fast charging fusion rifles but reduce burst damage to compensate. Fusion rifles behave more predictably based on player state. Reduce hip fire stability for all fusion rifles. When I did attempt to play PvP on fusion rifles, I basically fired from the hip. There's no reason to fire aiming down the sights with a fusion rifle. So they're going to reduce hip fire stability on all of them. Increased ADS and crouch stability for all fusion rifles. They're trying to compensate a little bit, but the true way to shoot a fusion rifle is just from the hip. Reduction in carried ammo inventory for all fusion rifles. Increased base damage against AI combatants to 1.25% was 1.15%. So they're taking it up 0.1%. Damage fall off on sniper rifles is here to stay. Ducks. But we're pushing it out a bit further to ensure that a precision headshot is consistently rewarded. With the new values, sniper lethality should only be affected at really, really long combat distance. Speaking of rewarding precision headshots, Luck in the Chamber will now only grant a precision damage bonus when the perk rolls on a sniper rifle. So goals with the sniper rifle. Sniper rifles are optimal at long range and difficult to use for medium or short range combat. Sniper rifles reward thumb skill with high damage against precision targets. The Luck in the Chamber perk on sniper rifles should still require precision shots. So changes. They're going to extend sniper rifle damage fall off, so damage only reduces for very long range shots. Luck in the Chamber on sniper rifles now only buffs precision damage. Sidearms. I hate these things. I don't even know why they brought them out. It's like they took some of the hand cannons lethality and they split it up over sidearms. But anyway, here they are with sidearms. Sidearms are the multi-purpose support weapon for close range edge cases. Why not use a shotgun? Anyway, suppress a nearby flank route, gun down a rushing attacker, or swap it when you just need a few more rounds to finish off a weak target. Goals. Sidearms should always feel light and responsive. Reload and handling stats go from good to great. Sidearms are optimal at close to medium range and lose effectiveness at long range. Sidearms are intended to act as an all-purpose support tool for your primary weapon rather than a special case alternative. Ranges increased ready stow speed for all sidearms. All right, let's keep it going. Exotic weapon tuning, the first curse. The last word is your close-range hip-fire bullet storm that begs you to rapidly empty the magazine. The first curse is the spiritual opposite, a heavy-hitting, slow-firing pistol that asks you to stay calm, take aim, and drop each shot like a megaton payload. Okay. This weapon didn't immediately resonate with many players like its scrappy counterpart, so we're emphasizing its strengths as the longest-range hand cannon. The quest to achieve it is no walk in the park either, so the test weapon imprecation is also getting some improvement. So changes. The first curse perk now refills the magazine when activated, provides better stability, better target acquisition, and damage fall-off starts further out when the perk remains active. Plus 25 to the first curse base range. Fixed a bug where the first curse perk would deactivate if the player summoned their ghost. Wow. Boost to imprecation base range and magazine size. Alright, so they're trying to bring the first curse in right now. Apparently nobody's using it, so they're, trying to buff it to make it better. Hawk Moon, armed with better base ADS accuracy from the global hand cannon changes, Hawk Moon soared high above the pack as we play tested the new weapons. So high that all other hand cannons paled in comparison no matter the activity, and thus needed to have its wings clipped. Hawk Moon still hits hard, still has the largest magazine of any hand cannon, and can still two-shot in the Crucible under lucky circumstances, but it won't be as common with the new changes. So changes, they're going to reduce the base range by 20. Lucky bullets from both Luck in the Chamber and Holding Aces now do 1.2 times bonus damage. It was 1.3, so they reduced your range by 20 and took away some damage for the Luck in the Chamber and Holding Aces. Wow. The Chaperone. It's not often that a weapon gets banned from internal playtests, but as we tested the global 2.1.0 shotgun changes, our bastard hero, the Chaperone, rose above in a tremendously anxiety-ridden way. By reducing base damage but enhancing precision damage, we are ensuring this exotic remains good at what it does when it's playing to the weapon's intended role, but doesn't incite quite as much rage in its victims. Changes. They're going to reduce the base damage, of course. Increased precision damage scalar to 1.75% was 1.1%. All right. Fabian Strategy. What an awful primary. Currently, the effect of front lines is subtle and requires close attention to notice. The new approach to front lines focuses on a more tangible experience. We increase the base rate of fire stat and push the weapon up to the fastest firing auto rifle archetype, enabling the weapon to do more damage in less time as long as you don't miss. The visceral reply of the weapon as it cranks through the magazine feels much more appropriate for a Titan on the front lines, and the already ample stability boost helps keep the rounds tight and focused. The new approach exposed a few bugs with magazine inconsistency, so we needed to retrofit the stat upgrade perks with new options. Changes. Frontline perks on Fabian Strategy no longer buffs rate of fire as a bonus modifier. Frontlines now increases the base rate of fire stat to highest damage. Damage per bullet is offset to match the high ROF archetype. Removed extended mag perk and replaced with flared magwell. Removed small bore perk and replaced with rifled barrel. Needed to make these changes to prevent shipping a magazine bug that could trigger when reloading the weapon while frontlines perk was active. Increased base reload and stability on the weapon to help offset the removed stat upgrades. Black Spindle. While the scope changes do affect weapon stats as advertised, only one piece of scope art was built for Black Spindle, so we opted to replace the first column with barrel upgrades. Changes. They removed scope upgrades from Black Spindle talent grid. Spindle only has one scope, replaced with barrel upgrades. Sleeper Simulant, and I believe this is the final one. And looking at an inoffensive ammo exploit bug, we took the opportunity to address some pretty unanimous feedback about the ammo inventory of this weapon. Of all these weapons, I do have a Black Spindle, I have a Fabian Strategy, I don't use it, I don't have Chaperone, I don't have Hawk Moon, I don't have the First Curse, But Sleeper Simulant, I do have changes. Maximum inventory ammo buff from 7 to 9. Thank God, because that thing takes an hour to reload and it needs more ammo. Ammo swap exploit removed. Weapon no longer converts one ammo from a different heavy weapon to a full. Alright, so a lot of changes are going to be happening in December. This is brought to us today by the Destiny dev team. You can check it out on Bungie.net. So for you PvPers, you got a lot of changes. Shotties are going to be reduced. Scout rifles are going to be the same. Sniper rifles are going to be extended out further. Pulse rifles are getting pulled back for those of you who are hating pulse rifles. So I don't play any PvP on Destiny. However, you see me playing Halo 5 here because I do actually bring it to the channel occasionally. For those of you who have been longtime subs, you've seen me play Battlefield 4. I played Battlefield 3 before this, and I played the hell out of Modern Warfare way back when it was on PS3, I believe it was. So anyway, sound off in the section below. Are you going to be happy with these changes? Are you unhappy with these changes? Maybe you're happy with something and unhappy with something. Sound off, let me know, because I don't play Crucible on Destiny. I just have some serious issues with map design and things like that. Anyway, hopefully you found this video informative. I'm going to leave a link in the description below if you want to jump over to the Bungie.net forums and check out every word, every period, every T, every I of this upcoming update. Remember, for my channel, likes, comments, subs are loved. Please remember to hit that like button, pound that like button, pound it into submission, because it's really helpful for my channel getting more views and popping up a little more relevant searches on the YouTube search bar. But remember, for my channel, likes, comments, subs are loved. Until my next Destiny video, hopefully I get to see you Guardians on the Destiny battlefield. This has been your boy Buzz saying peace out.